going to be a good one. So I'm not going to waste any more time. We're going to bring out our panel. We're going to talk about what is to come, but also what has come before, and we're going to give them all the love that they have earned over these 8 seasons. So let's bring out Mr. James Banford, director and co-executive producer. Ms. Juliana Harkavy. David Ramsey. Stephen Amell. Katie Cassidy. Rick Gonzalez. And executive producer Mark Guggenheim.
We love you, Stephen!
All right, how about this, you guys? It's been a long time. So here we are, 7 years, at least 2 Sarah Lances, God knows how many crossovers, and countless abandoned warehouses. Later, we are here, and back when we were up here in 2012, I had the privilege of presenting the screening and their first panel. And Stephen, you sat here with Katie and Mark, and you said to the crowd that if we do this right, we could run for 10 years. And honestly,
we did it wrong.
You guys could. You
You
guys could run. You guys could run at least another 3 seasons. Because you did it right. You did this right, and you did it right for so many reasons. But why is right now the right time to end it?
You know, I honestly, I think we've all talked about this, and we all kind of want to leave the party while the party's still going. People are still talking about the show, thank God. Our series finale, we were trending on Twitter, like in the 7th season. That's ridiculous. And now's the time. And also, there's logistical and budgetary and producerial, limitations that you face when you're dealing with an 8th year of a show. We want to go out while people are still talking about the show, but while the show is still the show. We don't want to turn the show into something less than just to keep going.
And did you ever imagine, though, that taking what at the time you guys considered this was a lesser-known comic book property, that this guy would become such a rich character that provides so much for storytelling, and then also create a universe?
Bear in mind, this was from the writers of Green Lantern. So the whole exercise was, don't screw it up. I would use a different word, but they tell me there's family people here. But it was like, don't screw this up, don't screw this up. And hopefully we didn't screw it up.
You didn't, right?
Yeah, thank you.
And so much of it, the biggest risk was you were putting a huge undertaking, especially for the network and the studio, on the shoulders of someone who had not really been tested that much.
Can I say, I don't want to interrupt, that did not feel like a risk at all.
Yeah.
I swear to God, because Steven came in, I think we've all talked about this, very first audition, very first person, and the moment he opened his mouth, it was like, we're okay.
Yeah.
We're fine. And it's been... Thank God.
I was shirtless at the time.
Well, if you go back and watch the first season, it's great because it's actually like watching the Face app, where Steven is so.
What are you trying to say? Oh my God! Has it been that?
It isn't that
for me? It's been a long 8 years.
You've been through a lot.
I have.
This was your own private island.
I downloaded his audition because I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna get this Steven guy, but he's gonna be big one day. And I want to be able to say, I've got his audition on my MacBook.
Yeah.
And I do.
And here's the thing.
And if Steven's nice, I won't tweet it out.
Who would have known?
Go right ahead, I got the job.
Who would have known that at that time that you were actually finding someone who would be an actual superhero for this show? That Stephen Amell has tirelessly shown up for the Arrowverse and all of its properties and residents. He really has. The guy has not given up.
No, that's the thing. It's like when you audition someone, you're just getting their read, you're getting their creative take. You're not getting who they are as a human being, and you're not getting who they are as a professional. And that's just, I mean, it's pure luck. I mean, it's incredible. Like, it's our good fortune. Like, we didn't interview Steven and go, okay, are you going to be the quarterback of the team? Are you going to be someone who is a public figure, who is out there, you know, helping out with charity and with conventions and being a hero? And we should have asked you, but we didn't have to because you did it, which is great.
We love you, Steven! So, Katie Cassidy, you have no idea how happy I am that she is up on this panel still. Katie was like CW royalty at the time of her casting. It was like we'd seen her in
She's still CW royalty.
Supernatural, but like she was the thing. Like they got Katie Cassidy from, you know. When you came in, we'd seen you in Gossip Girl and Supernatural. What did you think when you first read Laurel?
I have to play this part. And so I called my manager and I was like, I don't want to read any more scripts. This is it. She's like, well, we don't have an offer and you might have to audition. And I was like, I don't care. I'll audition. I don't want to read another script. I'm playing this character. And then when I saw they cast Steven, I was like, this is game over. It's like no brainer, yeah.
Do you know how I knew that you got the part?
No.
You followed me on Twitter. We had never met.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I figured I was like, I'm gonna get this job, so I'm gonna set it up for myself. Put it out in the universe.
And David Ramsey. David. Thank you, David, and your giant arms. Those giant arms. I was really hoping that they would be the next spinoff.
They could be.
Yeah.
Guns.
Jay's still young.
Yeah.
Gun show.
And I will say, like, you know, we watch a lot of TV at TV Guide magazine, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, Black Bodyguard, he's dying. He's dead. That's what they do on TV.
Yeah.
You are still alive, kicking ass, your own superhero. Did you imagine when you signed on that Dig would become such an essential part of the OTA?
No, I thought I would die. No, I mean, no one knew that, right? When I was pitched the job, it was like, hey, you know, you don't have much to do in the pilot, but you become very important. So it's just been a great ride, man. I mean, this has been incredible. So no one had any idea, except maybe David Nutter, who directed the pilot. Maybe he knew. But besides that, no one, I mean, who could imagine this, right?
And I think there is some news about the Diggle family tree, correct?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about the Diggle family tree because you know it's gotten bigger.
It has.
You know, there's Connor Hawk who we established last year. Diggle adopted, and then there's of course JJ who originally was Sarah and then became JJ because of Flashpoint. We'll talk about that later. I have opinions, but that JJ, he's grown up, and we've actually cast the adult version of him because we are, of course, dealing with the future now.
Okay, and he is.
I'm gonna let you announce it.
So
I'll let you announce it.
Charlie Barnett,
Yes,
right?
yes. And so, Charlie, by the way, the sweetest guy, and
Charlie from Russian Doll.
yes, and a wonderful gentleman who is so sweet. His character, I don't want to spoil anything, but his character has a bit of an edge to him. And when Charlie read, I was like, he's too nice. He doesn't have any edge, but man, he can bring it. Nice. He can really bring it. And he's awesome. And I think people are going to be really surprised about the way we bring him in. The way Charlie's character comes into the show and what he does, and particularly what costume he wears. He wears a very specific costume that is not what anyone is expecting.
Okay. All right. Juliana, our Black Canary now. How are you? Do you remember what your first day on set was like?
Yeah, I was vomiting in terror. I was so nervous. No, I actually, well, yeah, that is true. But I met Steven first thing, and we were in a big, stinky warehouse. And it was just, everything was larger than life. I couldn't believe where I was. It was literally just a dream come true. And the second I met Steven, and I don't know what it was, but it was just a hello, but it was so welcoming, and he gave me a hug, and I just knew everything was going to be okay, and it sort of set the precedent for the entire rest of my time on the show, because it was just the warmest welcome imaginable, and I was, you know, the new kid, and it didn't have to be that way, and everybody was just incredible.
Nice. And when did you start to realize, because you were brought on as recurring, when did you start to realize that Dinah was really connecting with fans?
You know, I guess, I don't know if I did know what was going on in fans' minds. I knew that I felt great on the show, and I felt like I wanted to keep playing the character, and it meant everything to play the character, so maybe that's what people connected with, and maybe that's why, I was lucky enough to keep going.
And Rick, you also came in around the same time. Yeah. And I love this character so much, because I feel like he's the most emotionally intelligent person on the team. Like, he's the one who actually says what needs to be said.
By the way, don't be too excited. It's not a very competitive field.
When did you, and I love the Renee and that stuff. Oh my God.
Yes.
It's like our
By the way,
favorite.
you want to talk about spin-offs? That's the missed opportunity
That is,
right there.
that's the buddy comedy of
yes.
Brody.
We talked about it a lot.
Talk about this character and finding his place amongst this, because he was more of a, and Oliver started he was a street fighter. Yeah. When he started being a vigilante, he was a street fighter, but Renee is a street fighter.
Yeah, and I think ultimately what made me excited to play Renee was this juxtaposition of this sort of deep-seated anger or this frustration that he has inside himself, but also how do we show the heart of Renee? What makes him tick? What does he truly care about? And so when we get to see moments with him and Zoe, I think that's when we truly see who he really is, and that's so much fun to play.
I love that. And it gives him a reason to fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of fights, James Bamford, how did you start as the fight coordinator, and now you are up here, co-EP, director, supervising stuff,
Directing producer.
Yeah, directing producer. How has that been for you? Because it sounds like that was probably a lot of work.
It is.
You're not supposed to remind him. But ask him where he started on the pilot. It wasn't just the fight coordinator.
Where did you start on the pilot?
I was the first person Steven killed.
I snap his neck at the end of Act 2. No one can know my secret. Crack. That's James.
That was me.
He's still here, though.
Still here. You cannot kill these people. So how has that been?
Fantastic. I met Steven, I got brought in and started training Steven on the pilot. Right away, we bonded and we trained 2 hours a day and martial arts, and we based a lot of the fights on Steven's strengths and his athleticism, and just kept going. And I shot a lot of the rehearsals and put them together, and at a certain point, Mark and folks noticed that I was good with the camera, I guess, and we had a lot of conversations, and before you know it, season 4 I was directing, and nice. Here we are.
Out of the gate.
Out
of the gate. Unbelievable. Ben's second episode, 414, this was an episode where, we'd come up with this idea where the bad guys of the week basically kill people by blowing up buildings. This is not an easy concept to get across. And Bam just killed it. I mean, parked it deep. We couldn't believe how amazing it was. It's there's really something when a director can turn a not great idea into a phenomenal episode. You have a great director. And then it was just
Thank you.
We're going.
And it's got to be great for the actors to work with someone, especially on a show like this, to work with a director who knows the language of the stunts that a show like this requires.
It's fantastic.
It was during season 5. I was at the WB party that we go to every Friday night at Comic-Con,
Had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
And I went up to Peter Roth. I went up to Mark Pedowitz, and I'm like, look, man, I think that we have the catalyst for a couple more really good years. And like, what is it? And I go, it's James Bamford. And I go, who's that? But I meant it, and Peter and Mark and Greg took it to heart, and we're not here, and we're not getting to do a final season and getting to go out on our own terms if Bam doesn't acquit himself and really become, in my opinion, like the lifeblood of the production that we do.
Right. Okay, so obviously, this is like your victory lap. This is what you guys have worked for all along. So, and we've heard from everyone except for Steven, and because this is really, I mean, there's no Arrowverse without him. There's no Supergirl. There's no Black Lightning. There's no representation of superheroes of color in different labels. So I want to hear from the actors. What has working with Steven Amell been like, and what has it meant for you?
Can I?
No.
Can I take a bathroom break?
No.
Or?
So I'm gonna jump in here. I actually was just, saying to Steven backstage that I am really proud of him. And I say this, I mean, everything that, this whole show obviously doesn't exist without everything that he has done, and you guys have no idea how hard he works, how hard we all work, but especially being, #1 on the call sheet in a production that is this demanding is insane. And I remember when we shot the pilot, I said to Steven, I said, just, excuse me, don't F this up, is basically what I said to him. And he, obviously, he didn't. In fact, he did the contrary. And I do say this, like, I'm so proud of him, and I'm so impressed with him, and everybody on our show. And for some reason, things just happen, and we all just sort of gelled together and worked. And he was the leader, and he led us to where we are. So thank you.
Steven is a true leader. You're a true leader. You really are. And you, don't you dare.
David.
That's all. He's amazing. That's it.
I think when I came in, coming in season 5, immediately I saw the hard work that he put in for the last 4 seasons. And I remember distinctly last season in 7, I was talking to Michael Jai White, and he brought up what he was privy to see in season 1, and season 2, I believe, when he came in, and the hard work that he put in. And Michael Jai White has worked with like Jackie Chan and people of that level. And the fact that he put Steven Amell higher than those guys for the hard work he put into those seasons. And I remember even seeing another clip of another season where he's like scaling a wall. And I texted him immediately, I said, "You scaled a wall? When did you do that? Did you do that?" Like, and he's like, sends me a text of like where he learned. He's like, "We should go and train sometime." And I'm like, this guy. So he just set the bar. He set the bar for the show. And so I immediately, when they told me I'm playing Wild Dog, I knew the bar was set. I had to show up and try to physically create this character just as much as I had to emotionally. And that's due to the work that you did, Steven. So congratulations on 8 years of...
We're so proud of you. Thank you.
You all right over there, Steven Amell? You good? Here we go. Something's funny. We did something on a Mondo shoot and some big photo shoot. And I met Steven a little bit before that in Vancouver, and we're doing a film shoot, but we really hadn't spoken past that first initial meeting. And there are dressing rooms up in the top of the building, and downstairs is where we're all doing the actual photography. So I'm walking down the hallway, I hear someone say, Ramsey! I know it's Steven. I walk into the room, and Steve is there shirtless. And he's talking to me about how happy he is with the show, and how much he can't wait to work with me, and he's looking forward to a long relationship, and all I saw were abs, shoulders, and biceps, and earlobes, because he had muscles on his earlobes. And, but the picture physically of that was just a picture of someone's dedication. And it extended to to the set and every day at work. I have not worked with anyone who cares more about the fans, about the crew, for the writing. And there are times when you look at someone and it's like, well, what's going on right there? And it is all because he cares so much. So there would not have been, and this is really the truth, any comic book universe, not just DC, on television, after Smallville, without Stephen Amell and Arrow. That is true. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it.
This panel sucks. I hate it.
Can we go? We'll give him a second. James, Mark, what can you tell us about this upcoming final run of episodes and the crossover?
Whoa, that's a lot of questions.
Yeah. Well, he's got to compose them.
Sam, you wanna?
I just got off the plane. We were shooting all night last night, and I left set and went to the airport and came here. So forgive me if my eyes are partly open. Last night, well, and Thursday night, every night this week, we've shot sequences that we didn't think we were capable of before in action, and the actors who are coming to set, I tweeted this last week, if they don't win an Emmy for what we've done this week, Stephen, every one of these people on the cast, there's something wrong. They're all bringing it. I've never been so impressed with the performances that we've been getting during the action, during the emotional scenes, period. The size and the scope of the premiere that we're doing right now is nothing like we've done before. And that's the truth. We're very, very proud, and I can't wait for you to see 801. It's incredible.
I know some big news broke yesterday.
Yeah, some news.
That you're gonna have a couple Supermans.
It turns out, well, you always need more than one. And, you know, I didn't know this until very recently, but, you know, I was talking to Brandon Routh, and he's like, you know, I used to play Superman. I'm like, really? I didn't know that. I'm like, that's kind of cool. We should maybe do something with that. So, you know, so Brandon he's gonna play Superman in the Cross. He's also gonna play Ray Palmer, don't get me wrong. He's gonna play Superman. And, you know, I only have his word to go on it, but he says he's had some experience, and it's an okay ad.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah, so, and Brandon's a great guy. I will say this, like, when I first met Brandon, he wasn't wearing glasses. And then the second time I met Brandon, he was actually up in Vancouver, he was in the Arrow offices, and he was wearing glasses. I'm like, I'm never gonna get this opportunity again. I walked up to him and said, who are you? I can't do that with anybody else. And we're incredibly excited. It's gonna be really, really awesome. The whole goal with the crossover is Like, we try to come up with like 100 great things to do, and even if we get to do 50 of them, we're still doing 50 great things. Like, it's really how many amazing moments can we pack into it, and certainly Brandon, you know, being Superman, being Clark Kent, being in the Daily Planet, it's gonna be amazing. So I'm beyond excited.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, can you tell us about who's Superman?
I don't know. I mean, is Brandon around? Can we talk to him?
I think so.
Okay. Let's ask him.
We just keep them in the back. So, Brandon, will you be wearing the Superman Returns costume?
Wait, Brandon, before you answer that, I have some bad news.
What's that?
Well, I spoke to Warner Brothers, and you know, we actually discovered this last year on last year's crossover. Warner Brothers, you know, every time they have a costume, you know, they basically put it in their archives, and it's in their museum and everything, and they don't like to let it out. So we won't be able to use your original costume. We're still figuring it out. Like, you know, we'll dress you in something, obviously. But if you have any ideas, you know, we're all ears. You know?
I thought that might be a problem. I mean, they won't. You know, they keep them lock up tight. They won't give them to the actors either.
They're very serious about it.
But I had an idea.
Okay. I'm all ears. I mean, whatever you want to do. That's a pretty good pitch.
That's a good one.
That's a good pitch.
That's a good one.
You know what? I think we're gonna do that. I think we're gonna do that.
All right. Well, listen, we've got a short amount left because we started late, but I want to get to some audience questions. So line up, and someone needs to ask about Emily Bett because I never got to it. All right. And then somebody has to ask about Colton. Okay. Yeah. Colin.
Yep.
Josh.
Yep. And yeah.
Oh, and Mia and all those guys are back.
By the way, Kat McNamara.
Amazing.
We really wanted her here. We wanted her here desperately.
Kat.
Problem is, she was shooting until late last night, and we just couldn't get her down here in time. And by the way, we suck. We should have made it happen, and we couldn't. And I'm sorry, Kat, and I'm sorry to all of you because, you know, we try to make Comic-Con great, and you know. It catch us next year. Oh wait, there's no next year, but we'll make it up to you, I promise.
There's always other shows she can go to.
No other shows.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and my question is for Steve and Amell. I was wondering what legacies you feel you have made on your fans by being the Green Arrow.
Sarah, when I think about my legacy on the show, and I think about the legacy that I've had an opportunity to make on fans, that thought starts and ends with you. I'm so happy that you're here. Did you bring the bow back?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, I'm coming out here.
ourselves. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ariel, and building off of Sarah's question, I just want you to know that you especially Stephen, but the whole cast and the show of Arrow has been such an impact on so many people, including myself, and you've changed my life, you've shaped who I am, and I just want to thank you for that. And so my question is, Arrow has taught me so many lessons. For you guys, what lessons has Arrow taught you?
I think for me, it's taught me, I was always a grateful person, I think. But there are things like this that make me really, really grateful. And to never take this for granted, because this is, we do this in a box, 12, 14-hour days, and then we come out and we meet you guys, and you tell us that we touch your lives. And you know, we're not surgeons, but we have influenced. But you know, you've done it just as much to us as we've done to you, and we are all very grateful. So, thank you for that.
We got time for one more. Two more. We've got time for two more sets.
Hello all, I'm Diggle. This question is for Stephen and Mel. First, I want to say that you will always be my Green Arrow. I will continue to work your character every single year, even after the show, because of you. Thank you.
I'm so sorry that I never had your haircut while I played.
Thank you for bringing my favorite character to life and being our legacy. I want to ask, in your professional opinion, will it take longer for fans to recover from the loss of watching you in Arrow for the 8th final season premiere, or Game of Thrones?
I'm not the right person to answer this question because I loved last season.
Oh, I love all finales. If you all hate our finale, I'll know we'll have done a good job. Mark and I were talking earlier. Arrow has a happy ending. You know that I tell you guys what happens on the show, and I tell you in plain sight, and you just don't hear me.
All right. Last one.
My name's Dylan. This question's for inmate 4587.
Are you a guard?
What episode has been the most fun to film?
The pilot.
I like that one.
100% the pilot. Getting to meet David and Katie and Willa and Susanna and Colin and and Jamie and shit, I'm missing
Emily wasn't in the pilot.
Episode 3, guys. Episode 3. Okay.
Episode 3.
Although it warrants mentioning that this panel feels a little bit incomplete without her here. That's for sure.
It does. Absolutely.
But filming the pilot with David directing, with Mark and Greg and Andrew and everyone that was there, and you don't know what you're going to do the first time that you try a superhero suit on. Just try not to look stupid. And so here we are.
So for that reason, I mean, we've had grand experiences. I think of specifically episode 215, where it was the episode where Oliver and Slade and Sarah attempt to take the freighter, and we built this massive set piece, and Bam coordinated all morning, and then got a call at 3 o'clock, and the call was, yeah, I gotta go because my wife is having a kid. So I think about stuff like that. I think about stuff like that all the time. But the pilot's always gonna be the most special for me, for sure.
Made sure we got the take first, though.
Yes. Okay, so I've had the privilege of doing several final panels for the cast of various shows, and something that I love to do for not just them, but for you guys as well. I'd ask the actors from Arrow to please step in front of the table and take your final bow.
Right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait a second. Is the show ending?
A little bit.
This is how I have to find out?
Until the reboot.
Reboot?
Here. Go.
Started on Arrow.
All right, and now we have an exclusive sizzle trailer